Hi, welcome to this video. This is Alina and I'm going to walk you through my project, which is a remote light control system using the Arduino Nano IoT. But before diving into the code section, firstly I will just show you the variables which I'm using in my thing section of the Arduino Cloud. I have three variables: bathroom, closet, and living room. All of them are bools. And also I connected my board to the associated device of my thing. And in the sketch section, as you can see, we have included the thing properties.h. This file, which is this technically, is really important because it connects the Arduino to the Arduino Cloud. And as you can see down here, it defines the variables, the bathroom, closet, on, and the living room variables, and it's like a bridge to the cloud database. Then we have our pins here. The important thing is that I didn't use pin 2 because it seems that it makes some problems in the communication between the serial and the board in the Arduino Cloud. So I just changed it to the 5. Then we have our pins here. We just set them as output so they can control the LEDs. Then we have our first initialization here. We just set all the lights start as off. We have the init properties, which links cloud variable to the Arduino, and the begin Arduino Cloud to connect the Arduino Cloud to server. And then we have our debugging connections here. In the loop function, we have our Arduino Cloud update, which is really important. It checks for updates from the cloud database and sends updates back to the cloud. So in the server, my Python server, which I will show you, that this is the exact connection between the server and the sketch. It would just take the updates and apply to the cloud variables. Then we have our 3 methods for each of the variables, and all of them use the toggle light. So technically this one just runs automatically when the cloud variable changes, and it's just same for all of these 3. And as I said, they use this function, which is the main logic of the code. Technically it just turns on and turns on or off the LEDs based on the cloud variable values. This is the exact thing that Arduino physically switches on or off the light. So let me now move to the server. And so the important thing is I use the Python server, a server with the Python coding here. So when a web browser tries to call an external API, like for instance we are just calling the Arduino Cloud, we just call it directly from an HTML file. The browser blocks it for the security reasons. So the Arduino Cloud API doesn't allow direct calls from a browser, and every attempt return as error. This Python file runs on my machine, can call the Arduino Cloud API freely by using the thing ID, client ID, and the client secret. So we first request an access token from the Arduino Cloud Authentication Server by this get token function, and this token is used to securely send requests to the Arduino Cloud API, allowing us to update the cloud variables such as the living room, bathroom, and the closet. So here in the HTML file, we use the toggle function to send the variable name and the value. the await, fetch, and the post method to send to the server the variable name and the value name. For instance, if it's living room, here will be living room, and if it's we want to turn it on, here will be true, and if we want to turn it off, it will be false. So we'll send it to the server, and here in the server we will catch it using this do post section and use the toggle. So this section technically once these variables are updated in the cloud, the Arduino device just connected via the Arduino, and the detects the changes and execute the corresponding callback function, which is ultimately switch the lights on or off. So as I just said, the server just uses works with this section, the Arduino updates here. So now let me move to explaining my circuit to you, and just show the output of how this project works. So as you can see here, here's my board with 3 LEDs, and all of them has a resistor, and each connected to a different pin here and to the ground pin as well here. So the thing I will just do is showing you how the board circuit and the whole server HDMI and the sketch Arduino sketch is working all together. So here's the HDMI website. So yeah, here before just trying to turn them on, I will show you that I just run the server on my terminal, and then open the localhost 8080 here. Now I want to try to turn my lights on, for instance the living room. So here it says it's on, and as you can see here, it's on as well. I will just try to all of them turn on. Yeah, as you can see, they just turned on, and I will just try to turn them off as well. Yeah, so that's it. Now I will just move to the diagram, and I will explain how the data is working together, the data flow is working in this project. So as you can see here, in the HTML page, we firstly check a box, for instance the living room box, and the JavaScript sends a post and or toggle request to the local Python server with the room name and the true or false value. The Python server receives the request, calls the Arduino Cloud API to get an access token, and then looks up the property ID for that variable and publishes a new value via the put request. It's just like a helper for the bypass of the CORS, which happens when the HTML page want to request the API, but the block will happen in the middle. And then in the Arduino Cloud, it will receive the updated variable value. For instance, if, as I said, we want to turn on the living room light, it will become true, and the Arduino Cloud will receive that, and then push that down to the physical device over the Wi-Fi to the Arduino Nano. So in the Arduino Nano, the cloud variable changes the trigger and uses the callback function. For instance, for the living room will be on living room on change, which calls the toggle light, and that runs the digital write to set the pin high or low. So for instance, if you want to turn the light off, the steam will happen until here, and instead of the true, the value for the a variable will become false, so at the end it would come turns off. So yeah, that was it. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed.